Chapter 21 Fun with Open Heart Surgery. Pottery Barn saved the day. And no, that's not a line I thought I would ever use. Our ceramic friend exploded from a third-story window above the payday loan office. They hurled themselves onto Hungnir's face, clamping their legs around the giant's upper lip and wailing his nose with both of their vase fists. Get off! Hungnir snarled, releasing TJ, who landed in an unmoving heap. Meanwhile, Moker Cafe struggled to get up, which must have been difficult with Alex Fierro imprinted on his chest. From beneath his weight, Alex groaned. Relief washed over me. At least she was alive and might stay that way for a few more seconds. Tragic decision. I ran towards TJ, whose condition I wasn't so optimistic about. I knelt at his side, put my hand against his chest. I almost snatched my hand away again because the damage I sensed was so bad. A trickle of red etched the corner of his mouth like he'd been drinking Tizer, but I knew it wasn't Tizer. "Hang on, buddy," I muttered. "I got you." I glanced over at Hrungnir, who was still stumbling around, trying to grab Pottery Barn off of his face. So far, so good. At the other end of the square, Mokur Kalfe had peeled himself away from Alex, and now stood over her, gurgling angrily and pounding his blobby fists together. Not so good. I yanked the runestone from my neck chain and summoned Surmabrander. "Jack!" I yelled. "What?" he yelled back. "Defend Alex!" "What?" "Do it without actually fighting." "What?" "Just keep the clay giant off of her." "What?" "Distract him! Go!" I was glad he didn't say "what" again, or I would have worried that my sword was going deaf. Jack flew over to Mokur Cafe, positioning himself between the clay man and Alex. "Hey, buddy!" Jack's runes pulsed up and down his blade like equalizer lights. "You want to hear a song? A story? You want to dance?" While Mokur Cafe struggled to comprehend the strange hallucination he was having, I turned my attention back to TJ. I put both my hands against his sternum and summoned the power of Frey. Sunlight spread across the blue wool fibers of his jacket. Warmth sank into his chest, knitting his broken ribs, mending his punctured lungs, unflattening several internal organs that did not function well when they were flattened. As my healing power flowed into Thomas Jefferson Jr., his memories backwashed into my mind. I saw his mother in a faded gingham dress, her hair prematurely gray, her face stretched thin from years of hard work and worry. She knelt in front of 10-year-old TJ, her hands tightly clasping his shoulders as if she were afraid he might blow away in a storm. "Don't you ever point at a white man," she scolded. "Ma, it's just a stick," TJ said. "I'm playing." "You don't get to play," she snapped. "You play shoot at a white man with a stick, and he's gonna real shoot you in the back with a gun. I'm not losing another child, Thomas, you hear me?" She shook him, trying to rattle the message into him. A different image. TJ was a teenager, reading a flyer posted on a brick wall by the wharf. "Two colored men. Freedom, protection, pay, and a call to military service." I could sense TJ's pulse racing. He had never been so excited. His hands itched to hold a rifle. He felt a calling, an undeniable impulse, like all those times he'd been challenged to fistfights in the alley behind his ma's tavern. This was a personal challenge, and he could not refuse it. I saw him in the hold of a Union ship, the seas pitching as his comrades threw up in buckets on either side of him. A friend of his, William H. Butler, groaned in misery. "They bring our people over on slave ships, and they free us, they promise to pay us to fight, and then they put us right back in the belly of a ship." But TJ held his rifle eagerly, his heart pumping with excitement. He was proud of his uniform, proud of those stars and stripes flapping on the mast somewhere over their heads.